David Thompson was a successful executive in a large city. He had everything he thought he wanted: a high-paying job, a beautiful apartment, and a fast car. People respected him at work, and he was often praised for his achievements. However, despite all this success, David felt a deep emptiness inside. He worked long hours, traveled frequently, and often missed important family moments. His wife, Sarah, and their young son, Jake, often felt alone and neglected. One sunny afternoon, David received an unexpected phone call from Sarah. Her voice was shaky and filled with worry. "David, I need you to come home. Jake is not feeling well. We took him to the doctor, and they found something unusual." David's heart sank. He immediately left his office and rushed home, the city streets blurring by as he drove. When David arrived home, he found Jake lying on the couch, looking pale and tired. "Hey, buddy, how are you feeling?" David knelt beside him, trying to keep his voice calm. Jake managed a weak smile and said, "I'm okay, Dad. Just a little tired." But David could see the worry in Sarah's eyes. Sarah sat down next to Jake, her expression grave. "The doctor wants to do more tests. They think it might be serious." David felt a knot tighten in his stomach. He took a deep breath, forcing himself to stay strong for his family. The next few days were a whirlwind of emotions. They went to the hospital for tests and waited anxiously for results. David attempted to focus on work, but his mind was always on Jake. He felt guilty for not being there for his family when they needed him the most. Finally, the doctor called with the results. "Mr. Thompson, I'm afraid Jake has leukemia," the doctor said gently. David's heart shattered. It felt as if the ground had disappeared beneath him. "What does this mean?" he asked, his voice trembling. The doctor explained the treatment options, but David barely heard him. All he could think about was Jake and how he needed to be there for him. "I need to be with my son," David said firmly. "I can't go back to work. I need to take care of my family." Sarah looked at him, tears streaming down her face. "Are you sure? Your job is important, and we need money for Jake's treatment." David shook his head, determination filling his heart. "No job is more important than our son's health. I will find a way to support us. I promise." That night, David made a life-changing decision. He would take a leave of absence from work. It was a risk, but he knew it was the right choice. He wanted to be present for every moment, every treatment, and every smile from Jake. As the weeks passed, David stayed by Jake's side. They spent hours at the hospital, waiting for treatments and talking about superheroes, games, and life. David learned to appreciate the small moments he had missed while chasing success. He realized that being with his family was far more rewarding than any promotion. One day, while they were playing cards, Jake looked up at David and asked, "Dad, will I be okay?" David felt a lump in his throat. He wanted to protect Jake from fear and pain. "Yes, buddy. You are strong, and we will get through this together." Jake smiled, but David could see the fear hiding behind it. As Jake began his treatment, there were good days and bad days. Some days he felt energetic and wanted to play, while other days he was too weak to get out of bed. David and Sarah took turns staying with him at the hospital, supporting each other as best as they could. One evening, after a long day of waiting, David sat beside Jake, who was sleeping peacefully. He thought back to his life before the diagnosis. He had been so focused on his career that he had forgotten what truly mattered. It was not about the money or the status, it was about love, family, and connection. The next morning, David had a meeting with his boss. He knew he had to explain his decision to take a leave of absence. He walked into the office, feeling nervous but determined. "I need to talk to you about my situation," he said. His boss looked concerned. "I understand this is a difficult time for you, David. But we need you here. The company is counting on you." David took a deep breath. "I understand, but my family needs me more. I can't work right now. I have to be with my son." He felt a sense of relief as he spoke those words. He was finally putting his family first. His boss nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I will support your decision. Take the time you need. Family is important." David felt grateful. He had made the right choice. As the weeks turned into months, Jake's treatment continued. David and Sarah found a routine. They encouraged Jake, read him stories, and made him laugh. David even picked up new hobbies, like cooking and painting, to spend more quality time with his family. He realized that these small moments brought him more joy than his previous lifestyle. One afternoon, while playing outside in the hospital garden, Jake said, "Dad, when I get better, can we go to the park and fly kites?" David smiled, his heart swelling with hope. "Absolutely. We'll have the biggest kite in the sky." Days turned into weeks, and slowly, Jake started to regain his strength. The doctors were optimistic about his recovery. David felt a growing sense of hope for the future. He realized that the time spent with his family was worth more than any promotion or bonus he could ever receive. One evening, as they sat together watching the sunset from their balcony, Jake looked at David and said, "Thank you for being here, Dad. You're my hero." David felt tears in his eyes. "You are my hero, Jake. You're so strong. You inspire me every day." Finally, after months of treatment, Jake received the good news. He was in remission. David and Sarah hugged him tightly, tears of joy streaming down their faces. They had faced the hardest time of their lives, but they had done it together. The family felt a renewed sense of love and connection. As they celebrated, David reflected on the journey. He realized that life was not just about success or money, it was about love, family, and making choices that truly matter. He had learned to appreciate every moment with his son and to cherish the bond they shared. In the following months, David returned to work, but everything felt different. He was more focused on finding balance in his life. He made sure to spend quality time with Jake and Sarah, never taking a single moment for granted. David became an advocate for childhood cancer awareness, sharing their story to help other families. He used his experience to inspire others to cherish their loved ones and prioritize what truly matters in life. He organized events and spoke at schools, encouraging others to support cancer research and raise awareness. As they stood together, watching Jake play in the park, David smiled. He had made the right choice. In the end, love and family were the greatest achievements of all. David knew that the journey had changed him forever, and he was grateful for the lessons learned along the way. Every day was a gift, and he vowed to live fully, appreciating every moment with his family. Together, they had faced darkness and emerged stronger, ready to embrace the future with hope and love.
If you enjoyed the story, please like and subscribe.